One more question. So this is a question that came from Rania in LinkedIn today. And if your question hasn't been answered or you've got a question in the comments, we will hold it over to next week. So it's not too late to ask a question in the comments, or if you're watching the recording or listening to the recording as a podcast, you are welcome to go to taleist.agency/SOS and ask your question in advance there, and we will tee it up to answer in a future standout session. But in this standout session, Rania has asked email marketing, specifically what's working, what's not working, and how to get the best results. Email marketing and what's working will depend very much on your audience. So what works for some audiences will not work for other audiences. So for example, it's common for people to think, well, I can't email too frequently. Whereas there are other people who run extremely successful lists where they email 4, 5, 6 times a day, a week, or every day. And that works for them. And their audience is excited to hear from them, 5 times a week or 7 times a week. Other audiences are not keen to hear from you that often. We made a choice at Taleist. We were emailing once a week and we stepped it up to twice a week. We did not see a significant drop off in subscribers. So I did have an email from somebody who said your emails seem to come every day, which was interesting because they come twice a week. But he felt they came every day and he didn't want that, and he unsubscribed. And that is a temptation to you get one piece of feedback from one person on a whole list and you take that feedback as gospel. But we have a high engagement rate. We have high open rates. We have low unsubscribe rates. We have a lot of people who reply to me. So every Tuesday and Friday when the emails go out, I will get 1 or 2 people who actually take the time to hit reply and comment on what we've sent them. So it works for the majority of the list. So you mustn't be afraid to experiment with how frequently you send out your content. But what, in my opinion, doesn't work, generally speaking, for most of the people whom I think will be in my audience is the overly branded, big banner, glossy image. They're trying to make their emails look like they come from Vanity Fair. And what is working really well in emails and what will always work really well in emails is recognizing that email is intimate. You might be emailing 10,000 people, but that one reader feels that they are in a conversation with you. And that is why people reply to my emails, because even though they know it's a newsletter and it's gone to multiple people that day, I am working hard to build a relationship. And it is a relationship. You email me, I will reply. It is a relationship. But it's personal. It doesn't have a big banner on it. It doesn't have a giant photograph of me. I'm not trying to look like Vanity Fair. I'm trying to look like I'm having as close as possible one-to-one conversation with you. And this is something we talk about a lot in our masterclass on email marketing. So again, if you go to the Taleist Agency website, you can go to our training section, which is in the services menu, the online training, and you'll see that we've got a masterclass on running an email newsletter. And what we talk about in that is how to build that personal connection and the benefit of building that personal connection. And the final part, before I wrap up today, of the answer that I would give to Rania on, what's working in email is, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. That's good, isn't it? What I would say to Rania is what's working in email is to treat your email list as an asset. And in the masterclass, we talk about how to do that because it's a lot of work to email people twice a week. So there are ways that you can operate smartly so that work pays off again and again and again without you burning through it and finding as a smaller business, it's impossible to sustain. So the short answer to Rania is, in my opinion, what's working is to be personal, to be useful and not super salesy. And behind the scenes, what's working is to realize that your email list and the emails that you're writing are assets and to think about how you can maximize the value of those assets. And now